Have you ever wondered that if millions of years ago humans did not exist, what would the Earth look like? Was there really a time when the oceans were the only home of life, or a time when not a single bird flew across the sky? These questions are not just scientific questions. They are the questions of human curiosity itself. Where did we come from? How were we formed? How did we change? And the amazing thing is that both science and Islam look at these questions in their own ways. And when you place the two perspectives together, the picture becomes clearer than ever. First, imagine this scene: the Earth billions of years ago, a red sky, intense volcanic activity, boiling oceans, and then time passes, conditions change, and life appears in the form of a tiny cell. This is the moment modern science calls the origin of life. Here we recall the name of Charles Darwin, who presented the theory of natural selection, which says that living beings gradually change over time, adapting to their environment. But Islam sees this picture from a different angle. Everything is Allah's creation, and He created every single thing according to a law and system. The Qur'an says, "And Allah created every living creature from water." This is not just a religious statement. It is deeply connected to a scientific reality. Today's science confirms that the earliest forms of life appeared in water. So are science and the Qur'an saying the same thing? Or are they two different paths? The answer is both interesting and profound. Now let's talk about humans. The creation of humans has always been the biggest mystery for mankind. Science says that modern humans, Homo sapiens, appeared around 300,000 years ago. Before that, many human-like species appeared and vanished. Some evolved further, some couldn't adapt and went extinct. These changes happened extremely slowly, over thousands, even millions of years. But Islam traces human origin back to Adam, that Allah created humans with a special purpose. People often ask, if Adam was the first human, then why does science talk about different human species? Our scholars and Muslim scientists give a beautiful answer. Islam describes the spiritual beginning of humans. Science describes the biological evolution of the human body. And these two do not contradict each other. Islam never says that humans never changed. Islam only says that Allah made humans the noblest of creation. He gave them consciousness, purpose, guidance, qualities no other creature possesses. That's why the Qur'an repeatedly says, "Then we produced him as another creation," meaning Allah made humans unique and unlike any other creature. Another interesting point: when the Qur'an mentions that humans were created from clay or dust, many people interpret this literally. But modern research shows that the human body is made of the same elements found in soil: carbon, oxygen, calcium, iron. So the word clay isn't just symbolic. It's astonishingly close to scientific reality. Meanwhile, scientists like Richard Dawkins and leading genetic researchers compared human DNA to other animals. The result? Humans share 98% of their DNA with apes. But does this mean humans came from apes? No. Scientifically, it means humans and apes share a common ancient ancestor. This distinction is extremely important and often misunderstood. To understand this, imagine, you and your friend both have the same model of car. Both cars were made by the same company, same factory, using many similar parts. This doesn't mean one car came from the other, it means their source is the same. Science says humans and apes have exactly this kind of relationship, and Islam says the same thing in a different way. Allah gave humans a higher soul, intellect, and consciousness, qualities no other creature was given. Now imagine for a moment, if the earth never changed, if climates remained the same, if forests never expanded, if dinosaurs never went extinct, if oceans never shifted, would humans ever have appeared? Science says, probably not. Islam says humans would appear because Allah had already destined their arrival. These are not opposing views, but the two sides of one picture. Science explains how. Islam explains why. For example, changes in Earth's climate over billions of years, the rise in oxygen, the ice ages, the evolution of organisms. Science explains all of this. Islam tells us that all this happened under a system, not randomly, but under divine laws. Consider another example. If you plant a tree, water it, and keep it in sunlight, it grows. Its growth follows natural laws. But who created those laws? Science says, this is a process. Islam says, Allah is the one who created this process. A fascinating study by American researchers found DNA from deep-sea creatures that had evolved dramatically over thousands of years. Some had completely changed form. This not only surprised scientists, but also echoed the Qur'anic verse. We shall show them our signs in the horizons and within themselves. Now let's return to the human evolutionary journey. Science tells us that Neanderthals were adapted for cold environments with strong bodies. Homo erectus learned to use fire, make tools, and travel. Then came Homo sapiens, who developed language, thought, art, and civilization. All of this shows that humanity's journey was not simple. It was a product of change, struggle, environment, conflict, and survival. And Islam completes this story by explaining the spiritual journey. Allah made humans His Khalifa, representatives, on earth, sent them for a test, gave them intellect, guidance, the ability to learn from mistakes, and the principles for growth. If you think carefully, the greatest strength of humans is not physical power, but knowledge and the ability to learn. This is what the Qur'an mentioned long ago when Allah said to the angels that He would give humans knowledge that they did not have. This was the moment humans received consciousness, intellect, and the power to learn, qualities that made them unique throughout evolution. Now the question, is Islam against evolution? Islam does not say that species do not change. Islam itself says everything follows a measured system. Islam only states that the spiritual creation of humans was direct and purposeful. Combine both perspectives and the result is, science explains the laws of the universe. Islam explains the creator of those laws. Finally, think about this. Is humanity truly the final stage of Earth's story? Or can humans still change? Science says yes, humans can evolve further. Islam says humans can change, but their purpose, soul, and guidance remain constant. And this is the moment where humans should pause and reflect. We are part of a grand journey, a journey that began billions of years ago, and which Allah designed with purpose. The story of evolution is not just the story of science, it is the story of humanity, the story of all of us.